I know that no matter how many manifestation techniques you do, there's going to come a point where you tell yourself, you know what? I think this is a bunch of crap. Okay? I think that I'm lying to myself. I think that I'm just gaslighting myself into thinking something that is not true. Now, why is that? Because you say a technique about a specific person, you say an affirmation about the hot girl at the gym, and you feel good. You've been putting in your reps of the affirmations, and then you go back to the gym and she's just nonstop flirting with the guy that's like twice your size, right? Or you're trying to visualize about your money and you just want to become an entrepreneur for once, or at the very least stumble upon a big tip at your waitress job. And what happens, it seems that a big bill comes out of nowhere and you're even in more debt than you were before you did the technique, right? So I would say that it's easy for you to feel that way. It's easy. But again, where did that bill come from? Where did you see the hot girl at the gym talking to the guy twice your size? Did you see it internally or did you see it externally? Because just like the way a basketball player cannot even be concerned about how to shoot a three-pointer if he doesn't even know that he can't dribble the ball twice without taking a step, because then it'll be a travel, is the same way that you can't even be thinking about how do I get my specific person, how do I stay in the state of the wish fulfilled, yada, 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 if you are still highly affected by the 3D. You see, if you look at your circumstances and you react, I'm not talking about like a bodily reaction, but if it's just a decision you make, like, I am going to be mad about the fact that she's talking to the guy twice my size. I'm going to be upset and I'm going to give up because I looked in the mirror. I did a whole set of affirmations for a whole month about me getting a six-pack of abs, and all I can keep looking at is the damn beer belly after a whole bunch of McDoubles for 2 weeks in a row, right? If that's you, you are making a decision right now that you don't have the six-pack. Whenever you say this is not working, or when is this going to work, what am I doing wrong, just because you looked and she still hasn't changed her behavior, and maybe it's perceivably worse, maybe she is perceivably even less interested in you, and now you're not even in the friend zone, you're in the fucking, you're just a ghost to her, you're invisible. You are looking at that from the outside, and you don't realize that whenever you respond and decide to identify with what you just saw, you are stepping into the state of the one who doesn't have it. Everything you do is a state. If you have to go to the bathroom, you are in the state of the guy who needs to take a big ass shit. When you are munching for some Taco Bell, you have just entered the state of I am hungry as fuck. Thou art to give me a fucking cheeseburger, pleaseth. Congratulations, you have entered into the Hunger Games, my friend. Okay? You have entered into hunger. Everything is a state, okay? Even when you only got 2 hours of sleep, you're in the state of, holy fuck, I'm tired of shit. Right? Because that's the way you perceive it. Now, if you were running on 2 hours of sleep, I'm going to say something that's going to be kind of confusing, but just stay with me, okay, what I'm about to say, all right? I go all over the place with my examples, but watch this. Let's use that example. Everything is a state, right? When you notice, rather, that you are running on 2 hours of sleep, but, well, I'm going to use this as an example that I've actually done in my career. When I started working in the restaurant business, when I was 17 years old, 70 years ago, I was so just energetic. I was so happy to just finally get out of the fucking house and do something. And I was meeting a lot of friends, right? And I loved whether I was working at the front, whether I was working in the back, doing salsas, whatever I had to do. I was just happy to just be fucking busy, right? It was so much better than the years prior where I would just sit on my ass playing video games, right? Or watching TV, listening to music, you know, jacking off. And so whenever I was tired as shit and everybody was complaining like, oh, dude, I had this crazy test the night before, I had a freaking banger the night prior, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And even if I was on 1 hour sleep, in my head, in order to enjoy my time, I just would naturally go to like me playing in the World Cup for Argentina, right? I was a big sports fan my whole entire life, and I would just be so energized and just so motivated because, again, I was just so happy. Because to me, the job was not a burden. It was like a way to socialize with people. Because growing up, I wouldn't go out a lot. I wouldn't go to parties. I wouldn't hang out with friends. I was very extroverted when I needed to be and social. I mean, I wasn't socially awkward, right? Because I still went to school, but I would never go out, right? And so for work, it was like a fucking sport to me. Even if I was on 1 hour sleep, I was like almost imagining that I was in the World Cup while I was fucking shooting sanitizer on the tables, right? And it was of a way for me to, it wasn't even a way for me to cope. I didn't have to cope. It was just a way for me to have fun. Because clearly my subconscious knew that I wasn't actually at a sport, but I was so happy with my life because I was going out that, fuck, I mean, even being at work, it felt like a sport to me, if that makes sense, right? Well, other people, when they're tired, they just cannot stop thinking about how tired they are. And they're like, I need to get a Red Bull. Bro, please give me some. Like, you get one fucking small 16 ounce of an energy drink, and everybody wants a fucking shot. Like, if that shot is all of a sudden going to send them to fucking, you know, planet Jupiter. Like, oh, dude, that shit really fucking works, man. Fuck you. Okay? So, everybody's fucking, you know, they're geezers with this shit, you know? Tweakers, right? Tweakers for dopamine, right? Well, that's what we all are with the 3D. You understand? We see that she's talking to the guy hotter than us, and all of a sudden we want that dopamine hit. We don't want to tell ourselves something else. We want to accept it for what it is, and we want to change it. We want that dopamine hit quick, right? Well, you see, when I was working, even though I was tired as shit a lot of the times, I changed to the state of the guy who was in the fucking World Cup. And nobody could tell me otherwise. And because of that, I was so fucking just a hustler, and with the motivation and the persistence, I ended up getting a manager position promotion at age 19. And I swear to God, I never even once asked for a raise. And I actually, it happened out of nowhere, right? And that's the same way it is with your SP. That's the same way it is when you're manifesting money, with anything. It does not matter what the fuck is going on out there. It only matters what's going on in you, okay? So whenever you look at her, look, with me, I like to go crazy. I like to self-worship. I like to use self-pedestalizations, like the ones I send to my clients, okay? I send daily affirmations to a lot of my clients because a lot of them buy the daily affirmations package. The links are in the description. It's actually the one that people have said they've gotten results within days. Some of them within hours. It's crazy. Why? Because whenever you see your bank account in negative, you automatically think, fuck, dude. I can't even, you know, I can't let somebody borrow money because I'm broke. You know, I'm a loser. I suck, right? But what would you do if you were to look at that account and go, fuck, I am so damn wealthy, my fucking bank account looks like my social security number. Like, I am so damn rich that Jeff Bezos is asking me for loans. Elon Musk has me on fucking speed dial, right? With his jealous ass, right? Imagine you saying that, right? It's like, isn't it wonderful, but like 30.0, right? And why does that work? Because if you want to talk about a dopamine hit, it is so fucking crazy for you to say something that is completely the opposite of what you're seeing, and not to mention it's very exaggerated. It has no other choice but to invoke an emotion, right? And so, also, on top of that, you are denying what you see. Now, you want to get to the point where you don't need to have to think of this crazy, exaggerated affirmation, right? But I think it's best when you feel like okay, well, I mean, is that it? I just got to decide that I have my SP. I have to decide that I have all the millions of dollars and, that's all I got to do. If you feel like that's not enough, which it is, because whatever you decide, it must be. But a lot of times you feel like, well, dude, I feel like I'm lying to myself. I feel like this is enough. Well, saying self-pedestalizations will help. Will help you feel like you accomplished something. It'll shut the ego up for a little bit. I like to see it as like a little antibiotic or whatever, a little steroid that will help the pain, right? The pain of what the fuck, I feel like this is not working, right? It'll fucking gaslight the fuck out of your subconscious into thinking that you did something because you did. But in reality, whether it's a sat session, whether it's an affirmation, whether it's the gazing technique, whatever it is, they are never techniques that are done for you to get something. They are simply techniques to remind you of something you already got. Okay? But you have to fucking not live in the 3D. You have to live internally. And no, that does not mean that we are driving down the highway and running over old ladies, right? This does not mean that we can't try to do well at work because now this guy on YouTube says that you're not the mind and the body and you are just the no, I'm not saying that. Okay? Yeah, you are not the mind or the body. Your identity is awareness. But when you need to be the body, you can be the body. When you need to work hard and lift weights and you need to, go to the gym, I mean, your fucking awareness is not going to lift the weights for you. Okay? So yeah, there comes a moment where you be the body and you use it, but only use it for your advantage. But you don't worship the body. Like the scriptures say, ladies and gentlemen, those who live by the flesh will die, but those who walk by the Spirit shall live. What is walking by the Spirit? Was Spirit's something that we can see? No. So when you go and live your life by the things that are unseen, and of course things that are unseen cannot be felt because you can't see them. Anything that you don't see or feel is actually the truth. And where is the location that we have right now access to us at all times of things that we don't see and feel? Our consciousness, our internal mind, aka the imagination, but I don't like to say imagination because a lot of people think it's of pixies and fairy dust, right? But when I tell you that whenever you see your SP not texting you, like that is a big example right there. Like whenever you are expecting a text message from your SP and they leave you undelivered, or even worse, they leave you unread. First of all, I can give you some logical reasons why that is just not enough for you to decide, okay, all hope is lost. There's so many reasons. First of all, they might actually be busy. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, dude, how many fucking times have I heard that? They're not busy. They're always by their phone. I know that even when they're taking a shit, they're just over there scrolling. Look, all I gotta say is everybody is different. I have had girls who, they were madly in love with me, but they text like, like if somebody chopped their fingers off, right? But in person, they just, I wanted them to fucking leave because they could not fucking get off me with how fucking in love they were with me. I swear, this is the way it is. You just can't base everything off of text messaging, guys, right? And so that is a very perfect example. A lot of times you don't even have to deny the 3D. You just have to fucking tell yourself, okay, hold on, motherfucker, wait, she might be busy. You could accept what the 3D is showing you and just change the perspective, which is honest to God what I like to do, because you don't even have to argue with the ego. Okay, your ego is still at the front desk, and he's eating the fucking donuts, And he sees that she's not texting you back. And instead of saying, oh, dude, she just sent me this long fucking list of nudes. And it's so much fucking nudes that I can make my own fucking porn website with all the fucking pictures she's sending me. You can say that, and then your fucking, the security guard ego is just going to be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? Like, he's usually just eating his donuts. He's a fat ass, but when he hears that, even he just fucking mans up. He's like, dude, just what the fuck's your problem, bro? Like, even he's just talking down to you, like, what the fuck? Right? But if you were to say, yeah, she hasn't texted me, but I know that whatever it is, whether she's playing hard to get or whether she's actually busy, I know she wants me. That's a lot more different. And by the way, you could still say the first one, right? I'm just saying that a lot of you guys might not be ready to handle the ego talking shit back to you, right? Because honest to God, another level to handling the 3D, and I know you're probably saying like, what the fuck? How many fucking levels are there? Look, the thing is I can't say everything in one video, guys. This is what a consultation is for. I don't want to fucking sell myself to you guys, but I'm on sale now for $29.99. No. You can only say so much in a fucking video, okay? Because everybody's situation is different and everybody sees things differently. And I would actually have to fucking see where you are in your consciousness. And I know you're probably saying, bullshit, just fucking tell me the technique already. But I'm trying to fucking tell you, motherfucker, since the beginning of this fucking video, that it's not the technique, it's you. It's where you are. It's who you're being, okay? So, but with that being said, okay? The other level to the 3D is you understanding that even the things that are going on in your brain when you see that she's talking to the guy hotter than you, when you see your bank account in the negatives, the way that your mind reacts to it itself is the 3D. Because remember, you are not the mind, you are not the body. You are awareness. So you're observing even the things that are going on in your brain. Your brain feels like it's really you because you can't see it. And that the things that are happening outside of you, the person talking to you on the opposite side of the table, feels like somebody else. Right? The emotions, the anxiety that you feel in your stomach feels like you because it's internal. You can't see it, you can only feel it. And sometimes you can't get rid of that feeling, right? Because it's in your body and you have to wait several minutes to calm down. You got to drink water, you're having a panic attack. But even that is the 3D. When we say 3D, we don't just mean the fact that your SP hasn't texted you back in a whole week. We mean everything that is perceived. And when you can understand that whether you change your perspective or whether you decide and deny what you see in front of you and decide what really is, and that is all that matters, then you win. Because most people, they think that deciding is not enough, because when they look at their situation and they say, yeah, I actually am extremely wealthy, I'm financially free, and yet they realize that they immediately have the thought, okay, I have to go to work tomorrow. Okay, but where did that thought come from? And I get it, you do have to go to work tomorrow in the 3D, sure. But again, if the 3D, like we've said in so many videos, if you don't know this is another part where you're just really gonna not get it. The 3D is an old reflection. It is a past assumption being reflected. And when you've been there in your consciousness for so long, it's going to fucking have all this momentum. It's going to have all this force behind it. Okay? Just like if you're riding a motorcycle and you have to brake, it's not going to just all of a sudden just stop once you press the brakes. No, it's going to start skidding and then eventually slow down. And that's the way it is. It's just old momentum. Right? But every single time you check the 3D, it's like you doing a fucking sat session saying, my dick is so small, my SP hates me, they're gonna marry my brother. It's like you fucking robotically affirming that 100 times an hour. Whenever you tell yourself and decide, despite the fact that you're in the negatives in your bank account, no, I actually am financially free. When your brain, because your brain will do this 100% of the time, if you actually are broke in the 3D, your brain will say, stop the bullshit, that's a lie, or it'll just simply fucking hit a brick wall. But you'll definitely not feel like you're telling the truth, right? But you see, the power is when you can even look at that thought and say, even that I don't identify with it. And it's not even necessarily you having to say it out loud. I don't identify with that thought. And now I'm going to buy lemons from the Walmart. No. It's more you simply get into the habit of labeling things in your mind. Okay, that's me. Yeah, because that thought is positive. It's saying I'm having a great day. I look great. Wow, I'm working out. Yeah, that's true. I do look good in the 3D even. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to lie about that. But then, she's talking to the hot guy. No, but she's mine. But then your ego's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You really believe in that manifestation shit? Instead of saying, fuck, dude, this shit is not working, because why would I be having that thought? You look at that thought and you just swipe fucking left like on Tinder, right? Scroll up like on fucking TikTok, right? You guys know within seconds something that you don't want to see on TikTok, right? That's why they say that the first 5-10 seconds of a TikTok are the most important, because everybody knows that right away the person viewing their For You page is going to make a decision within seconds of if they like what they see. Decide if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, deny it. Now, yes, self-pedestalizations work. Yes, imaginal acts work, and you could use that to counteract it, but a lot of times there's just so much shit going on in your 3D, you eventually just have to fucking say, okay, well, even if I have to live in this situation, I'm not going to identify with it. I'm not going to allow the thought. Like, you can be in a situation, right? Where, I mean, here's a crazy example. Like, let's say you're trying to manifest your spouse back, but she's your ex-wife now, and you have to still see her, and things are awkward, and she doesn't even fucking flirt with you anymore. She doesn't even look you in the eye. She just picks up the dog, and that's it. And you have to go through that. Like, I'm not telling you to not do that. But whenever she leaves and she closes the door and you feel the loneliness that you don't have her anymore, the thoughts that remind you that you're lonely, you don't identify with them. Now, your physical reality still stays the same, but internally you are training yourself to not go there mentally. And I swear to God, when you don't go there mentally, no matter how bad the 3D is, it must reflect how you are doing in the 3D. That's why people who eat a lot, who do drugs, that is something that's happening in the 3D, it all starts up here. It never starts because they're having a great time in their life. It's always because something internally is going wrong. That's why whenever somebody is gaining weight, they're like, dude, what happened? What's wrong? Are you okay? They don't say, wow, dude, you got to fucking stop going to McDonald's, dude. But hey, you look great. No, they know something's going on because it's not you, right? And unless you're happy to fucking be eating a lot of junk food, there's people that are like that too. But you get the point, guys. As without, so within. Okay? If you guys want to go more in depth to handling the 3D, any help manifesting, guys, book a consultation with me. What the fuck are you waiting for? The link's in the description. And join the membership channel for access to the next 2 months of videos, as well as access to success stories, as well as techniques that are too taboo for YouTube. And you get discounts to consultations if you are a channel member. I love you guys.